Welcome, one and all, to another episode of Gridiron Lions. This is your host, Gary McKenzie, and we are back at you again for another wonderful episode talking about Chiefs football here at RGR Football, where you can get the best Chiefs YouTube content ever. So, I want to talk today about Isiah Pacheco. So, peak off-season mode. I had a number of different video ideas in my head I was running around with, and I decided to land on Isiah Pacheco because I want to make my first prediction of the year. So let's talk about Pacheco here for just a little bit. He's born March 2nd, 1999. So he's going to head into the 2024 season at the age of 25. So he just turned 25 4 months ago, and his first two seasons in the NFL have been pretty impressive. When he was 23, 170 attempts his rookie season, 830 yards, 4.9 yards per attempt, 5 rushing touchdowns, 130 receiving yards. So a really good rookie campaign for Pacheco. Then he turned 24, and he had 205 rushing attempts, 935 yards rushing, 4.6 yards per attempt, 7 rushing touchdowns, and 244 receiving yards, and I believe 2 receiving touchdowns. So Isiah Pacheco heads into the 2024 season being the age of 25. And for some positions, you might think 25, that's no big deal. But the running back position has this stigma about it where if they're not 22 years old, they're old. They're an old man at that position. Well, that's not quite necessarily true. So, yes, the running back position does get churned out more than any other position in the NFL, and the running back position is one of the youngest, if not the youngest, on average age position in the NFL. But I don't think that's so much a question of or a function of longevity and durability as it is availability. So what I mean by that is there's a lot of players that could play running back in the NFL and do well enough to stay on a roster. There's a lot of talent at the running back position. There's a lot of available players. So whenever there's a large amount of available players, it drops the value in the market for those running backs. As you've seen, running backs trying to get their first big NFL contract are struggling to do so. The team opts to go for a younger player that's a cheaper contract. You know, it's kind of like that saying, dime a dozen. Running backs in the NFL are kind of a dime a dozen right now. And there are some dudes that they're dudes, and there's no one else out there like them. But the replacement level player to replace even the best running back has a marginal impact on the team's outcome at the end of the season. So instead of going the route of keeping these good running backs or decent running backs for a long time, the NFL teams instead opt to replace them with younger options, younger players that cost cheaper. It's one position they've decided to do this with. And so that's one of the reasons why the running back position is usually so young, why NFL running backs never make it too far into their contract, and too far into the late 20s, sometimes early 30s. Why you don't see that very much is just money. It's a lot about money and not so much about durability and longevity. Yes, NFL running backs are they do take more of a beating than other positions, and that does play some role in the shortening of their careers. But it's not just the position, not just what they're asked to do that causes them to have shorter careers. It's also a money thing. So if the best running backs were willing to take as much money as a rookie running back, they would be in the NFL well into their 30s. But that's not the case. However, I will say that the best running backs, the NFL starting caliber running backs that are productive, are usually productive well into their late 20s. So there's this notion that, okay, the running back has to be 22 years old, 23 years old. Once they get 25, kind of just, no, not any good anymore. That's not true. The good running backs are productive well into their late 20s. And I think Isiah Pacheco could potentially be one of those options, but he also might be a player who falls under that umbrella of, yeah, well, I mean, he's good, but we can get a rookie and pay him a lot less than what they're asking for in this contract. So let's just do that. That's not a problem for today. That's a problem well into tomorrow regarding Isiah Pacheco, but he's going to be 25 next season. And what I'm really trying to say is that that's not old. 25 is prime season for Isiah Pacheco. Next season, he should be better than he was when he was 23, better than he was when he was 24. And I'll talk about my prediction for Pacheco here in a second, but I want to take some history back to other Andy Reid running backs that were with him when they were rookies. So these are running backs Andy Reid has developed in the past. And how did they grow with Coach Reid, and what kind of trajectory did they see? So Brian Westbrook, first year in the NFL was 2002. And many of us remember Brian Westbrook as being this awesome player, which he was. But his first 3 seasons, he did not seem to be this awesome player. Year 1, he had 193 rushing yards. Year 2, he had 613 rushing yards. Year 3, he increased to 812 rushing yards. But Brian Westbrook didn't see his best years until he was 27, 28, 29 years old. So he didn't see his best years until he was almost 30 years old. So Brian Westbrook started off slow, and then as he grew in his career, became more and more productive. So I'm not saying necessarily Isiah Pacheco is following the same career arc, because he's not, and he came on strong at the beginning. But what I am saying is that, again, here's an example of a running back that was into his mid to late 20s and had the best years of his career. And that's not unusual to see that whenever you're looking at some of the better running backs in the NFL. Westbrook, he was drafted in 2002, and while I defined the era after that Greatest Show on Turf year in 1999 with the Rams and Kurt Warner and Dick Vermeil and all that good stuff, I described that era starting in 1999 or 2000 to be the passing era of the NFL. And while Westbrook was drafted in the passing era of the NFL, it was still a different time. Running backs were used a little more frequently than they are today. There's more importance placed on the running game. And so Brian Westbrook, he just existed in a different NFL than what we have today. While it is more similar than maybe the 1990s NFL compared to today's, it's still a little bit different than what we see today. So getting a little closer to more modern history, the next rookie running back, or the next running back that Andy Reid acquired through the draft and, kind of built them up over time that I want to talk about is LeSean McCoy. So LeSean McCoy was drafted in 2009, and his first season in the NFL with Andy Reid, he had 637 rushing yards. The next year after that, he had 1,080. And the year after that, his third season in 2011, he had 1,309 rushing yards. So he had a continuous growth through his first 3 years. And his career arc reminds me more of Isiah Pacheco's, because Pacheco came up, he had 830 yards, then 935. And what does this mean for year 3 for Pacheco if he follows a similar career arc to LeSean McCoy? Now, LeSean McCoy and Pacheco were different style runners, and that's one of my favorite things about NFL running backs. They've all got a different style. Like the good ones have a style. Jamal Charles had a style. LeSean McCoy had a style. Brian Westbrook had a style. And Isiah Pacheco, he has a style. And I love Pacheco's style. It's a gritty, in-your-face kind of, hey, I'm going to run through you if I can't run around you. And I'm going to get up, and I'm going to show no signs of fear. I'm going to show no signs of pain. And the way he runs is as though he's angry at the ground. And you got to love Pacheco's style. And LeSean McCoy, once again, another solid running back, another really good running back. He was most productive from his rookie season when he was 22 years old to when he was 29. So it's another top flight, really talented running back that was productive well into their late 20s. same as Brian Westbrook. So the really good running backs can get great production when they're 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 years old. They don't get put through the meat grinder like a lot of other running backs do, where they're released because of money reasons or they're not signed to another contract. So once again, I'm just reiterating that Isiah Pacheco should be entering his prime. His first 2 seasons, he was good, but I think he's going to be even better at age 25, 26, 27, 28. So if he continues this arc that he's shown that he can do, there's a lot of good things in the future for Pacheco. And my first prediction that I'm going to make for this season is that Isiah Pacheco has over 1,000 rushing yards in 2024. And here's my reasoning. The first reasoning is everything we just talked about. He should have continuous increased production. He's going into year 3 with Andy Reid. Pretty much every running back that Andy Reid has had, that he drafted, year 3, they have seen continuous growth over their first 3 years, with year 3 kind of being a banner year for that player. In addition to that, it has everything to do with, my prediction has everything to do with the fact that the Chiefs have said over and over again, we want to pass the ball. We want to pass the ball downfield more. And not only have they said this, but they've backed it up with their actions too, by drafting Xavier Worthy, by signing Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown. It's just every indication is showing that they want to stretch the field a little more. And you can say that you want to do that. That's fine. But if teams are playing cover 2, cover 3, leaving safeties out of the box, having extra defenders downfield, you're not going to be able to throw the ball downfield because they're going to clog the back end of the offense. So the way you have to go about trying to throw the ball downfield is by taking advantage of the shorter stuff. There's a push-pull of NFL gamesmanship, NFL strategy between the offense and the defense. And the defense only has 11 players, same as the offense. But where the offense chooses to put those players and the defense chooses to try to stop where the offense is putting those players has a huge impact on, the flow of the game. And if the Chiefs want to get into a flow where they're able to throw the ball downfield, they have to force defenses to respect their short game and their running game. So it's kind of this yin-yang of, yeah, we want to throw the ball downfield, but to do so, you have to be able to run the ball as well. You have to be able to do the short stuff. You have to be able to do the simple stuff. And they have the players to stretch the field in terms of speed, and they also have the players to ground and pound. They've got the offensive line. They've got Isiah Pacheco. And because of their desire to start throwing the ball down the field more, I think it's going to result in more rushing attempts for Isiah Pacheco to try to get teams to focus on stopping that, and then the Chiefs can go and get what they want downfield after they've relentlessly attacked the front 7 of the defense. So it's not like the Chiefs just signed these 2 players, Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy, and then all of a sudden they're going to be just magically throwing the ball downfield. No, they have to work their way to get to that point. And so they're going to do that through Isiah Pacheco. They're going to do that through Rashee Rice when he's available, and Travis Kelce, some shorter passing. Maybe they'll have some swing routes, some throws into the flat, bubble screens, more screens, all kinds of stuff in the short game to try to get the defense to say, well, we're tired of getting burnt this way, so let's open up the door for throwing the ball downfield and hope we don't get burnt that way. So that's my take. Isiah Pacheco will have over 1,000 yards rushing in 2024. That's my first prediction that I'm making. And the primary 2 reasons for this is year 3 for an Andy Reid running back. The other running backs he's had in the past have shown continuous growth through their careers and early on through their first 3 years. And in addition to that, they want to throw the ball downfield more. I think that's going to leave openings for Pacheco to have lighter boxes, also have openings for the offense to try to make defenses get out of playing these deep shell coverages and open things up for Pacheco to try to be the enforcer to make those defenses creep up. But that's my take. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think the Chiefs are going to have a 1,000-yard rusher next season? Do you think Isiah Pacheco is going to do it? If you were a betting person, would you bet on the over for Pacheco to have over 1,000 yards rushing, or do you think that's a bit aggressive? Let me know down below. And as always, hit the like button. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers, and we're inching closer every single day. So every one of you that subscribes, every one of you that comments, every one of you that likes the videos, I appreciate you so much. This is Gary signing out. We're inching closer to Chiefs training camp, just a week and a half away, week or two away. And then before we know it, there'll be preseason football, and then we'll be actually watching real live regular season games that count. So let's go, Chiefs. Y'all enjoy the rest of your week. This is Gary signing out.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.